Before this, we were doing demo programs, and now let's do two actual programs. We'll be doing two actual programs over here together. Why together? I'll let you know very soon. So what you do is take your notebook and on the left hand side page you copy this question with colors, and on the right hand side page you copy this question again with colors. So pause the video and do that, and compulsorily copy them on the left and the right hand side page. Come on, do that. Okay, so now let's read the two questions. So this question says that write a Java program to find factorial of n where n will be provided by the user at runtime. Whereas this question says that find factorial of n where n should be entered as a command line argument. Now, if you have a theory exam of Java in your university, then these questions come very often in your university exams. Or if you have practical exams, then in practicals also these questions may come. Otherwise also, if you don't have a course in your university and you are studying Java just like that, otherwise also these two questions are quite important. The logic which we are going to study over here, the concept which we are going to study over here is important, so pay good attention. Okay. Now, if you read both the questions carefully, you will realize that in both the questions, the black color is same. So the black color over here is telling you to find a factorial of n. Okay. So in both the questions, you are supposed to find a factorial of n. But the question on the left hand side says that over here, n will be provided by the user at runtime. So what is the meaning of this, that n will be provided by the user at runtime? So if you pay good attention, you will realize this is a normal program where we will execute our program, and during the execution the value of n will be inputted to us by the user. So this is a normal data input program. Let's do this program first, the left hand side program, and then after some time we'll go to this right hand side program. Okay. So come on, by now you know, if you have a program on data input, you start with which statement? You start with import java.io.star or import java.util.scanner. Now I am using this version where we'll use input stream reader buffered reader. In some programs I will use input stream reader buffered reader, and in some programs I will use the scanner class. Okay, so that you get to know both of them properly. Then I start with a class called fact. Fact stands for factorial. Then as usual I have void main, okay, throws IO exception. Then these two statements, input stream reader ISR is equal to new input stream reader system.in, buffered reader stdin is equal to new buffered reader ISR. Okay, all right. Now you want to find a factorial of n. So obviously you will declare some variables which will store n, which will store the factorial. So I have these declarations. We need variable I for the for loop, which we will see very soon. Now you will ask the user to enter n. Now the user will give you some value of n. Let's say the user gives you 3. Now what you want to do is you want to take 3 from the user and you want to store it in n. Now you have studied data input, so tell me what statement are you going to write? I had told you that the more you can remember the syntax, the more you can remember things in Java, you will find Java easier. So you'll write n equal to integer.parseInt stdin.readline. So now n will be equal to, let's say, 3. Now you will write the actual logic of finding factorial. Now it is a saying in the world of computer science that if you are a real computer engineer, IT engineer, then you should know the logic of finding factorial by heart. This is like a litmus test for you. So what is the logic of finding factorial? F equal to 1, for I equal to 1, I less than equal to n, I plus plus, and then F equal to F into I. If you don't know this logic, if you don't know how it works, no problem. I'll explain you very soon. Let's just complete the program first. Now what this for loop will do is it will store the factorial of n in F. So if n is equal to 3, what is the value of F? Well, it is 6. So now I write this SOP. Come on, tell me one thing. If n is 3, F is 6, what will be the output of this SOP? So it will be this, factorial of n, factorial of 3 is 6. And then we close the main, we close the class. Okay. Now some of you may not be knowing this logic, so for you guys I'll explain this to you. So over here what I will do is I will assume that n is equal to 3 and I will draw a table of variable I versus variable f. Don't forget f is initialized to 1. By the way, this factorial is basically a product and products are always initialized to 1. Why? Because when you multiply anything with 1, the result is not affected. That's why. Similarly, sum is initialized to what value? 0. Anyway, now let's see how this works. We assume that n is equal to 3. So now in the for loop, pay attention to this. Those who are not well versed with the working of the for loop, okay, you should pay more attention. So over here, I will take the value 1 and then this condition will be checked. So is 1 less than equal to 3? Look at the mouse pointer. Is 1 less than equal to 3? The answer is yes. The answer is true. So if it is true, what the Java compiler will do is it will come down and it will execute this statement, f is equal to f into I. So currently what is the value of I? I is 1. And when we execute this statement, see this is 1, this is 1. So 1 into 1 you get 1. Now over here, this one is f, this is I and this is the product. Now don't forget this is a for loop, so the Java compiler will go back. Look at the mouse pointer, from here it will go back over here to I++. Now I takes what value? 2 and now again it comes back over here. Is 2 less than equal to 3? False. True. It is true. 2 is less than equal to 3. It is true. So again Java compiler comes down and execute this. So now when I is 2, tell me how this statement will look like. Come on, you tell me. I is 2. So it will look like this. 1 into 2 is equal to 2. If you say it is 2 into 1 equal to 2, you are wrong. Okay. See this it came over here. So this is f. This is I. That way it is. Okay. Now compiler again goes to I++. I takes the value 3. Is 3 less than equal to 3? True. F is equal to, come on, this time you tell me, if I is 3, f is equal to, how it will be? It will be 2 into 3 equal to 6. So f will be equal to 6. Now will the compiler go to I++? Yes, it will go. Many students have this misconception. They say it won't go, but it will go. Now I will take what value? It will take the value 4. When I takes the value 4, what about this condition? This condition is false because 4 less than equal to 3 is false and the loop stops over here. Now this statement won't execute, and because it is false, the compiler will jump to this SOP now. I hope you understood this much, and I think it was fairly simple. Just remember one thing, over here the value of n was taken from the user at what time? During runtime. While the program was running, the value of n was taken from the user. Okay, this is very important, remember this. Also answer one question, okay, what I'm asking you, this will be used later on after 5 minutes. Tell me one thing, if you want to execute this program on the command line, what command will you give? Remember the very first chapter, on the command line, what will be the execution command to execute this class? Well, it will be Java fact. Don't say Java C by mistake. You write Java C when you want to do compilation. C stands for compiler. For execution, you will just write Java fact. Okay. So now what you do is you copy this program on the left hand side page, and whenever there is a working like this, you should copy the working also. Even if I don't tell you, you should copy this working. So copy the program, copy the working. Come on, do that. Now let's take up the program of the right hand side. So it says, write a Java program to find factorial of n, where n should be entered as a command line argument. Now what exactly this question means, we'll see that very soon. But before that, let's revise the concept of command line argument. So, if you remember, just give me a sec. Okay. So now let's revise the concept of command line arguments. Now, if you remember, the first line of main looks like this. I have not yet taught you why do we write public static. That we'll see in the chapter of classes and objects. Void over here is the return type of main, and main is the name of the method. Now what is the meaning of this string args? So it means that the main takes one argument called args, and this args is an array of strings. I repeat, args is an array of strings. So will args look like this? It won't, because this is an array of integers. Args will look something like this. So over here args of 0 is OOPM, which is a string. Args of 2 is comp, which is a string. Okay. Now the name of the earlier program, the class of the earlier program was called fact. So if you want to execute the earlier program, what command will you give? You will give java fact. Now, instead of writing java fact, if I write java fact Jack Jill Tim, is that correct? It is correct. Over here, the green color will do the same work of executing the program. And tell me, what is the Jack Jill Tim? So the Jack Jill Tim over here are called command line arguments. Okay. Now, if you have forgotten this concept, listen to this carefully. If you pay a little attention, you will realize that Jack, Jill, Tim are basically three different strings, and each string over here is a command line argument. Now what happens is that when you give this command on the command line, the green color will execute the program, and Jack, Jill, Tim will be passed as arguments to main. So Jack, Jill, Tim will automatically get stored in the array args one below another. So if you really understood this, tell me what will be args of 0? It will be Jack. Args of 1, Jill. Args of 2, Tim. Okay, now let's take up the question on the right hand side, and for your reference, I'll keep this program of the left hand side which you have already done. Okay. So the question on the right hand side says that write a Java program to find factorial of n, where n will be given by the user at the command line. So for this program, let's say the name of the class is factcom, where com stands for command line. Okay. Alright. Now my next question will make sure, I'll come to know that whether you really understood this or not. Okay. In order to execute this program, you give the command java fact. So tell me, what will be the command to execute this program? The command from command line will be something like what? Tell me, come on. Did you say java factcom? Well, you are wrong. The command will be something like this: java factcom 4, where 4 is the command line argument. So this is what the question says. The question says that write a Java program to find factorial of n, where the value of n should be given at the command line. Okay, now tell me one thing, that now 4 will get stored where? So now 4 will be automatically stored in args of 0. Okay. Now let's move further. So now you gave this command, 4 got stored in args of 0. Now tell me, this 4, when it is stored in args of 0, it will be stored in args of 0 as an int or double? Well, neither int nor double. The answer is string. So what I will do is, I'll write a statement like this. By the way, this statement is a combination of two statements: string s semicolon, and next statement is s equal to args of 0. I repeat, this statement is a combination of two statements, the first one being string s semicolon, and the second statement being s equal to args of 0. Okay. Anyway, so now when I write string s equal to args of 0, what will be the value of s? Well, it will be string 4. See, 4 is in double quotes. Now, have you ever studied that how to convert a string to an integer? Of course you have. What is the method for that? Parse int. So I will write n equal to, come on, tell me, integer.parseInt s. So s is string 4, which gets converted to integer and then assigned to n. So now what is the value of n? Well, it is 4, integer 4. So now we have n, which is integer 4. Now what we will do, we'll write the same logic. So I write the same logic and the same SOP. Believe it or not, the program on the right hand side is over. Okay. Now, although the program is over, there are a few important things which we should discuss over here. Please pay good attention. Okay, things are simple, but these concepts are new for you. Now, do you see something missing on the right hand side? Yes, all those things related to data input are missing. So, see, import is not there, throws is not there, all these things are not there. Okay. Now, tell me why these things are missing over here. Because this is not a program on data input. See, when we say data input, what exactly it means? It means that the data is inputted by the user. I mean, the data is given by the user to the program at runtime. That means during execution. The word during is important over here. So when data is given by the user to the program during execution, it is called data input. Now tell me one thing, here on the right hand side, the value of n, which is 4, this value 4 is given to the user, this value 4 is given to the program by the user during runtime, before runtime, or after runtime. The answer is before runtime. See, even before the execution of the program starts, you give this command. So when you give this command, you are providing the value of n, which is 4. So this concept, I mean this technique which you use over here is not a data input. Why? Because here the value was given even before the runtime starts. So this is a technique of command line arguments. Now why am I stressing so much on this? Because in your exams, you may get simple questions on command line arguments, and you should not get confused only because they are questions on command line arguments. So for example, you may have a question, write a Java program to find maximum of 3 numbers using command line arguments. So in that case, the command will be something like Java max 784, something like that. And then using a simple nested if else, you can find the maximum. Alright. So I hope you understood the right hand side program. Now copy the right hand side program on the right hand side page.